no, they've blown everywhere all over the shoreline. What? I mean, I'm not gonna go help him find that. That's his job. Let's go over.
Hey, what's going on, friends and family? My name is Skylent, and here we talk about online games. So if you're hyped for that, get excited for brand new Ashes of Creation and other cool stuff, and things like Valheim recently came out, then yeah, you're gonna want to subscribe. We'll be doing like little video game party clubs, and we'll make guilds, and yeah, we're gonna have fun here. But I do want to talk about something that I'm excited about, that I'm enthusiastic to actually participate in, and that's going to be Ashes of Creation. We do have a new development stream vlog thing. It showed off PvP, a little bit of PvE, a lot of questing, but yeah, I've got a lot to say that's both positive and negative. Hopefully, guys, stay tuned through that. I have a feeling I'm going to say a lot of things that nobody else is going to say, so I think it's going to be cool. Anyways, so love it or hate it, Ashes of Creation, it's probably going to be fun to talk about, and that's what we're doing here. Hopefully, I sync up everything together. Before we go on a little bit too deep, I know that I sound a little bit more tired and winded because actually right now I'm recording this video. I have the sickness, and trust me, it sucks. Even as someone young and healthy, you know, it doesn't feel good, but I'm still doing this because I need to live, and also I like this kind of stuff. So Ashes of Creation I am looking forward to, just know that, which is why I'm making this video, not just to hate on it, but a lot of my bullet points are going to be negative. Probably because a lot of the positives we've seen have kind of been seen before, and I'm going to try to talk about new things that either I just realized or kind of have been reaffirmed or introduced here with this new stream. So the first thing that I have is, you know, the streams are still really silly. The streams are still not like the most produced or high quality things, but I don't know if it's just because the area that they are in, if the lighting has changed, if they're really cleaning up the art style somehow, some way, or maybe just the streams are just higher bitrate. He did mention 4K, but apparently it seems like better quality. That might also be because there's like some weird texture problems they had. They couldn't show grass or whatever, but now that I see some, I'm just gonna say I see some abilities, I'm seeing some of the gameplay, and I think we can all admit that two things. One, the game did look bad before, and two, it still looks awkward, but maybe a little better? I think things are becoming a little bit better. It's becoming a little bit more stylized, where before, Ashes of Creation was totally just like a bunch of Unreal assets, general Unreal lighting and stuff like that. But I think actually as time is going on, they have these talented people joining the team. I'm available, by the way. But anyways, it seems that actually it's kind of becoming its own. Like it's maybe starting to get there. I don't know. I'm still a little worried about the art style and animations, but I gotta admit, it's starting to maybe look a little better. So there's hope. Next up, though, the second point that I have, yeah, early on in the stream, and this is like a lot of other streams, it kind of hooks back into the idea that they're kind of silly streams, but they kind of treat us like idiots. Yeah, they talk to us like idiots, which the thing is, though, is that we are idiots. The general population is kind of dumb, and so basically a lot of what they could talk about, especially for a development stream, if they were just talking to Kickstarters and people who are invested in MMOs, and specifically Ashes of Creation, they wouldn't use such generic and vague, like, video game design jargon, which it's not even jargon at this point, it's just, like, really trendy, poppy, basically clickbait words that they're just throwing out, like, oh yeah, impactful design philosophy, or, you know, just random bullshit. So they kind of just say a bunch of that instead of giving us specifics, you know, like, okay, what are you specifically doing, hyper specifically, with these abilities to change them? They kind of talk around it, so I will just kind of give that's the main example, is they were talking about combat and vamping it up. They basically said that they want to make it more, I think, mobile. They maybe debatably are going to see, this is the problem with talking vague, because they said that you could have like the craziest, most, you know, impactful animation, but if it takes control away from the player, then it doesn't matter. That isn't always true. In a sense, people love Final Fantasy XIV and some, you know, really heavy hitting attacks inside of Monster Hunter. It can really work. Clunk can work in your favor. So yeah, when they talk vague like that, I don't actually know what they're doing, but I think idiots, which most people are, like, we are idiots, like we don't really know better. And I'm sorry I'm being so negative. It's, you know, I feel like they talk down to me, you know, like I just feel like, oh man, don't treat me like an idiot. Even if I am an idiot, let's use some different words. Like, let's not be so vague, even though it's probably working. Everyone loves it. I really wish that you made me smarter. Don't just talk to me like I'm an idiot to introduce me to the game. Make me smarter. Make me believe in your product show me the ins and outs, because that is what these videos are for. This is not just a general trailer. This is not just like a website, you know, some bullet points or whatever on the back of a box of a game. This is a behind the scenes. So when you treat it like it's not, and I'm an idiot, it makes me feel bad. Even if the general consumer is not enlightened, elucidate, you know, what's actually going on. Okay. So my next bullet point though was, yeah, they were showing some gameplay after swimming up to an island, which is cool. You know, I don't know, a lot of island vibes I'm getting from this game. Very jungly. But we did see them fight some otters. They were fighting some otters, and I thought it was really cool that mobs actually do have CC abilities. This is a big thing. So whenever a mob has a CC ability, or just really just in general, like I think a lot of us remember our times leveling inside of World of Warcraft, or like you do some runs and you run beside some kind of stronger monsters or elite monsters, which actually, or you know, the rare monsters, they actually have abilities. Sometimes they would CC you, and it would kill you, and it would become like this big memorable story or whatever. Or yeah, if you get dazed, because, you know, strong monsters hit you from the back as you're running, you get dazed and you die. That kind of stuff makes memories, and it's really cool. So I'm just saying it's really cool that a kind of normal mob has like a tail swipe, you know, knockdown. That's awesome. You know, especially like if you got hoarded by these, like Murlocs, I could imagine that killing a couple people, maybe a party, a small party. I don't know, it depends on what they do, but do I have high hopes? You know, it's weird, but it's just such a simple thing. But like, please give normal mobs at least one ability. Every single normal mob should have one ability, and they should trigger that ability, you know, pretty much every fight. You know, if it's gonna be a long-winded fight, unless you one-shot them. This is something that I've enjoyed with Albion Online, actually, though I think it could still be done better. And it looks like maybe this game, Ashes of Creation, will do that. So a small thing that I'm glad to see, because really, how many MMOs have you played where like 99% of the mobs in the game, like they just auto attack you, and there's not even any sort of extra special passives or anything. So yeah, if I'm gonna be, you know, excited about otters knocking someone down, you know, I think that says something about the entire genre, but here we are. But second to that though, while they were fighting the little water dogs, I noticed that they have a really small aggro radius. This is something that's just so fucking MMO, and I hate it. Playing Valheim, I love that I have to run for my life, you know, with wolves, you know, or if I get hoarded by a bunch of, you know, the Grey Dwarfs. It's fun. It's great. I love that trolls chase me around the world, basically. Super good. It makes the world feel alive. And it really plays with, I think if you played it like massively multiplayer, it would really work. You could run for help. You could actually run to town and be like, oh my god, you know, these bandits are chasing me. And, you know, the guards could kill them or something like that. Or some other players, you'd run into some other adventurers. They would just make memories. That stuff had happened to me so very rarely in certain games. A little bit in Guild Wars, you know, kind of, because there are like the big bosses, the elites will chase you for a long time. Yeah, very rarely in World of Warcraft. And then, you know, the thing is though, is that kind of stuff it creates experiences. And so if we could just have larger aggro radiuses, especially in a game that's so hyper mobile with so much CC, and we're kind of good at MMOs now, we're good at games, then yeah, I think it's time to up the aggro radius. You know, give them, and just as an aside, because I don't know if this game has done it yet, make the pathing more complicated. You know, make mobs roam. Don't have them just sit basically in one spot, and then like you can only fight them in that circle. And if you step out that circle, they run back to their spot. I hate that shit. I think most people hate that shit. Like, just stop, okay? Okay, so a lot of the stream, you know, it got exciting later on. There was PvP and stuff, but a lot of the stream, now this is where I'm going to get really negative, but I'm kind of defended in this. So we're going to be talking about questing, but please sit with me. And I actually implore that you watch it, and after you listen to me again, or maybe if you watched it, there's no way you can disagree with me, because what the stream had, I think, was genuinely kind of fucked up. I'm just gonna say this. I think it's okay to make fun of yourself, to make fun of your art or whatever you're making. That's fine. You know, you can do that. But this was sort of like a explorative, explanative sort of video stream, so it's just kind of weird that this happened. But anyways, the quest text, I'll rant about that, but the quest text was a little too thick, and the words were too shallow. Like, it wasn't very poetic. Like, I mean, you play a game like Path of Exile, and you listen to the story or the quest, which is really secondary to the gameplay, and it's Shakespearean, you know, it's fucking good. And there's a reason people talk about, like, World of Warcraft's Undead starting zone, even to this day, or the Death Knight starting zone, because, like, it was good, and it was, like, kind of fun writing, and, not bad, but holy shit, we are in 2021, and Ashes of Creation has some not good quest dialogue, and this is where my preamble kind of is coming in here, is we had the lead designer. He was making fun of the questing. He was making fun of the quests, and the other designers that were playing with him was trying to get him, oh, this is what you got to do for the quest, this is what you have to do. And here's my next point as well, is the questing is too awkward and unintuitive, but maybe this kind of goes together. But, like, the quest text was too big, not very interesting. The story itself wasn't interesting, even if it was just thrown together to show how quests work. I don't know. But it just, like, he was having such issue navigating what to do with the quests. He was having issue navigating the UI. He was not reading the quests. He started out at first, and you could tell he was kind of reaching with emotion. He was not actually reacting, I think, properly for someone who's supposed to be excited about their game, because he wasn't. He wasn't. Frankly, the questing was bad. It was bad. How can you say without playing? Because the lead designer was laughing and self-admittedly like, oh yeah, no, I'm just clicking through the text. And everyone else was laughing and be like, yeah, I do that too. So, okay. Basically, the questing is going to suck in this game. It's not going to be cinematic at all, and it's not going to be worldly in terms of being a proper MMO experience. It's going to be generic questing, and it's going to fucking suck. It's not going to be RuneScape. It's not even going to be like Guild Wars 2 dynamic questing. It's not going to be even in between, like best of both worlds, or no. It's going to be your generic MMO questing, and it's going to suck. That is basically what they're saying, and they're self-admitting it, and everything about Ashes of Creation so far has promoted that it would be different, that it was changing the game. But for some reason, when it comes to questing, seems like they don't give a fuck. So here's the thing. A lot of people are going to defend this and say, well, that is the thing. Most people don't care. It's there for people who care. But I have to say, dude, RuneScape does it great. Guild Wars 2 does it great in its own way. A lot of different games have questing in their own ways. For a game that doesn't care, I would say that's BDO. BDO does not care about its questing, and you know it, because Black Desert Online is an action RPG, and a lot of people actually do enjoy that experience. Kind of like going back to the Path of Exile thing, though, is you can have a game that's just action RPG or just grinding or whatever, and you can still have a great story, you know? Or you can make it Dark Soulsian and, you know, have like lore kind of thrown in there. No, the Ashes of Creation is kind of just being like, we'll make it kind of EverQuesty, you know? We'll just do EverQuesty quests. Cool, yeah? And then everything else is what people play the game for. It just feels like filler. And it was bad. I hate it. Honestly, I want to fucking vomit. And maybe that's because I'm sick. But I'm maybe a little bit more sensitive to something like this. I just can't imagine being in that position. If holy crap. You know, as someone as honest and open as myself, man, there's just no way I would allow that sort of system in my game. And I would never do a stream and like self-admittedly laugh at that. Like, that's just fuck. Okay, anyways, I talked enough about that. Questing seemed like it's gonna suck. I do want to know your opinion. Do you think it could be better or worse? What games had, you know, some good quests? I think, you know, you can do EverQuest style questing like the Undead Starting Zone in World of Warcraft, but also I think we know that 99% of the quests in World of Warcraft are exactly the same. So, yeah, and does Ashes of Creation have the intense world building that World of Warcraft has, with undead, breaking the fucking universe and mythologies, with going into the afterlife and all this morality of racism and stuff? Does Ashes of Creation have that? Fucking no, it doesn't. So I really don't think there's any safety when it comes to the questing with this game. I have zero expectations, and the only way it could be better is if the game is a rapid fire, like speed leveling grind fest, which can actually still be fun. A lot of people do that in World of Warcraft. Or they amp it the fuck up, which they're not going to. Even though they have so much money, I don't think so. Are they going to do full voice acting? Are they going to do an episodic, cinematic, expansive quest system like Guild Wars 2? No, I don't know. To me, this is the thing that needs the biggest fucking overhaul. Okay, that's enough of that. Anyways, yeah, they showed off some mounts. Sorry, I probably should have talked about that earlier, but they also showed off mounts a little bit later. Mounts look good, you know, actually. I wanted to kind of wait a little bit to talk about this, but I think mounts are something that they really care about, because mounts are something that will be a part of the collectathon gameplay. It's going to be something that keeps people playing the game. It's really, your first mounts and your later, like, you know, the mounts that you get as you level up is kind of like your milestones of epicosity. And also, you know, looking at like players like Asmongold or other World of Warcraft players, mounts are kind of a big deal, gotta catch them all. And it's just something that kind of just shows like a lot of flavor and style, and it's kind of a way to customize your character in a way. It also seems that mounts are not going to be to the extent of Guild Wars 2, which are like the prime fucking amazing mount system, but it does seem like there is going to be functionality between the mounts, maybe more so than most MMOs, where it's like everything is kind of a different skin, and basically they're all the same speed and they all do the same thing. It looks like this game there will be water-style mounts, there will be mounts that are more tanky, possibly, or maybe they have more vertical scaling or something like that. And if that's not in the game, I know you can do that. I could play it around in Unreal. I know how to do, you know, increased, you know, slope scaling. You can do it. So that'd be fucking amazing, you know? Like, okay, the black chocobo can go up mountains. The blue chocobo can go in the water and swim real fast. You guys know what I'm saying. So I think mounts got potential for real in this game. I was a little worried about the art style of this, but they definitely look better than Elder Scrolls, at least, which this game aesthetically is very similar to. And finally, a big part of this stream was actually the PvP. So I will kind of talk about that, even though I don't think it was a good example of PvP. It seemed like it was two people who kind of knew MMO PvP, or just PvP in general, versus two people who did not. And also two people who, you know, the people who are good at PvP also just happened to know maybe what would be meta in the game already. So it was kind of stompy. So I'm, you know, I can't really say too much about it, but overall, let's see, how do I feel about this? So as somebody who's been getting into PvP in World of Warcraft a little bit, I used to do some arenas in Guild Wars 2, played a little bit of Blade and Soul, but really mostly the PvP MMO I like the most is PlanetSide 2, and also Albion Online is where I do my duels. So I've got like a wide breadth of games that I play for PvP for different reasons. So I'm just thinking like, okay, why would I play Ashes of Creation? I would probably play it for a similar reason why I play Albion, which is ganking and stuff like that. But I'm a little worried, I guess, about that balance, because we don't see MMO PvP yet. We kind of played the Battle Royale, which is actually, it was bad, but it had potential. You know, if that kind of gameplay, if it wasn't buggy as fuck, if we could have that sort of action-based magical gameplay, which Ashes of Creation kind of seems has, in castle sieges and stuff like that, cool. You know, but damn, I don't know, the game is falling a little flat, but I don't want to just really start like that or end like that. I do want to say that it's looking better. Like black holes and all this, there seems to be a decent amount of skill shots, where World of Warcraft has kind of like none. Guild Wars 2 has a lot of them. I think this is actually more leaning toward Guild Wars 2, where it's like you actually do have positional black holes that you can preempt. You know, if you see someone starting to charge you, boom, black hole. You do have things that you want to actually lay down on the ground and target. You do have thrown abilities. So even though this game is tab target, it does seem that it's going to go more in that Guild Wars 2 direction, to the point of where, you know, Guild Wars 2 is actually an action combat game. If you guys don't play, maybe you don't know, there is a setting where you just click action combat and it's full aim based. It's crazy. Even actually the auto attacks are technically aim based. A lot of people don't know that. So I think it's actually going more in that direction, and I really appreciate that. I've always wanted kind of like another Terra style game. It doesn't have to be that clunky though, but I wanted a game like Guild Wars 2 that was proper like Trinity, you know, had proper roles, and then also was open world PvP or PvEVP. So I think that in the sandboxy world of Ashes of Creation, this combat could be really cool. There probably could be awesome, oh my god, actually I can imagine it now. You see like a guild and they're fighting some open world boss around a cliff or whatever, and you use your black hole to kind of suck them up and throw them off the cliff or something. Stuff like that happened in Guild Wars 2 occasionally. I know some people did some gimmicky stuff in World of Warcraft. Those sort of emergent gameplay experiences I think are possible in Ashes of Creation if they continue to allow, you know, for skill shots and free placement of abilities, and abilities that actually CC, knock back, and push. Things like that is really fun. You know, I'm talking wind walls that push people back. I'm talking the blinks are really cool, but also abilities like the black hole. So I do want to see more of that. I know we have the whole scorpion get over here. You know, we can pull people. That's cool. So PvP has potential, but in this video, I don't think we really see it exactly. I'm highly extrapolating. Also though, the game, I don't know, I had this in my notes, but I deleted it. I'm going to say it anyways. The game does seem, I want to say, mid-fantasy, where this is a high fantasy game, and there are cool things like black holes and stuff, but God, the aesthetic and the design of this game just, I'm afraid. So if I played like World of Warcraft, right, I can have like a giant undead army. You know, I can get really fucking dumb. Or paladins have abilities that are just like, fuck you, I'm invincible, I'm gonna bash my shield against all of your teammates, it's gonna ricochet everywhere. And it's just like, you know, it's really, it's crazy. You know, it's like really epic. And that's kind of an old game, and a lot of these abilities are old. Wrath of the Lich King was a long time ago. So it's just weird seeing this game where it's like, yeah, it's got a black hole, that's neat. But it's like, man, a lot of other MMOs have crazy abilities, you know? Like, Blade and Soul is just wacky as hell. Guild Wars 2 has giant explosive arrows, and, you know, just like, I'm a little worried that mechanically this game is going to fall a little flat. You know, like, even in Elder Scrolls Online, which people say is like, man, the combat is really floaty and bad, I think that Elder Scrolls Online might be looking a little more fun. That's kind of what I'm saying. Elder Scrolls Online, because you can mix and match so well. I mean, we have to see. Here's the thing. I'm thinking Elder Scrolls Online max level, but if I compare Elder Scrolls Online like level 10 or, you know, like level 20 or whatever to what we're seeing now, which is level 10, we're not even seeing like the full expanse of the abilities, because remember, we have just one class in the game right now, but the game is supposed to be much higher level, obviously, but you're also supposed to mix classes. So you're supposed to have like a tank cleric, which I think becomes a paladin. That would make sense, right? So you have, you know, or whatever, the healer. So, and then you have like, you know, like ninja. I think there's ninjas in there. I can't remember all the class names, but you're supposed to mix and match classes and abilities. So there's supposed to be much more to the game. So if this is half the complexity of the game, which makes sense, then I think this is a good start, actually. I think this is pretty good. I still am worried and skeptical, but actually as effects become a little more cleaned up, as they hire more people to make the game a little bit more free-flowing and kind of better, you know, have a better game feel, I think it'll be really good. My only issue was readability, but in general, the art style seems to be cleaning up, and I think it's coming a little bit together. I was initially worried that this game would just be all about the macro, you know, it's all about the big ideas and just selling you on the Kickstarter bullet points. But it's starting to kind of come to life in small, subtle ways. I mean, you know, I'm not holding my breath. I'm just saying that, but there is hope. So, sorry I was really critical, especially at certain parts, but to be honest, the developers themselves are openly mocking of their product at the moment, which makes me feel weird, but at the same time, maybe they're kind of on the same page as us. You know, maybe they know. It's like, yeah, this is silly. We know. Hopefully, they do know, and they will fix it, and they're not just like, yeah, you're gonna buy this game anyways, you dumb idiots. So, yeah. Anyways, what do you guys think about Ashes of Creation? That's all of my thoughts that have, I don't know, I kind of gleaned from this stream so far. Hopefully there's some interesting insight for you, or at least some points of, you know, dialogue to jump off of you keyboard warriors in the comments below. But that's pretty much it. I am going to go sweat it out. I'm going to go sleep now and hopefully get better. But much love, guys. My name's Skylent. Hope you guys subscribe and, I don't know, YouTube algorithm stuff. And I'll see you again next time.